Howdy, and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. This video is a cylinder head porting video. This is the second part of the video. The first part went over valve deshrouding. This video is going to go over bowl porting. What I'm using is the 318 head off a 90 model Dodge pickup. So that's the closed chambered swirl port design head right there. So I'm going to say thank you to Charlie again for helping me out with this porting process here. And it's because I'm trying to take myself to a whole nother level. Charlie's a professional porter, does a great job, so he's kind of helping me in certain areas, telling me bowl ratios and things along those lines on this too. So thanks, Charlie. Okay, let's get into bowl porting. Okay, bowl porting. So the bowl area is right. I'm considering it the valve guide area here all the way up to the seat. That's what I'm going to say I'm doing bowl area. What? Poor starving kitty. You just ate, dude. I'm over here. Come on. You want to jump up on the table? I got the camera on. So anyways, the first thing I'm going to do is dress this area. We see our machined area right here. And it ends, and there's a little bit of a lip right there. So I'm going to use this tool right here and just come in and get rid of that lip. So I may have to flip the head around, that way I can get the short side. So this is the short side radius is right in there, right? And that's the long side or whatever. So that's the first thing. Then I'm going to address probably bowl ratio. We're at 86.4 right now, and that's just right across there. Need to make that an 88, so there's a little bit of meat to cut out. This actually comes out and tapers in all the way around. It's wider at the bottom, basically, right? So I'm going to come in right at that machine mark right there and work that area mainly from here to there. Is one I'm going to work until I get that bowl ratio right. The short side, like I said, I'll flip the head around and do the short side later, which I'm not going to do much. Probably just kind of polish it out just a little bit. I may come back and do a little bit of roughness on there because I want it to stick to that short side better, but I'm not taking it down. I'm not widening it, not doing anything to it at all. I want to leave it, basically get rid of that lip and leave it alone, and then work on bowl ratio from this area around. The last thing actually next to last, the other thing I'm going to be doing is here's the spark plug. So this air is coming in, and it kind of almost wants to come around there, but it hits that wall right there. I'm going to just whack that wall down right there and kind of point it right towards the spark plug. And then over here, that's kind of doing what it needs to do, but it comes up and hits that edge there. I'm just going to radius this out nicely and probably just leave that alone. I'm not going to go too crazy on that area. I usually don't. That's kind of beyond my skill level right now to do it correctly. I mean, I can totally do it incorrectly. The other thing I'm going to do is my 3D printed flow balls. Is if we notice this edge down in here, a quarter fits pretty good in there. It does not fit in there. So I'm going to widen that area at the boss area. I'm going to widen that out. The valve guide boss. I got a cat over here just meowing like it's hungry or something. What do you want, dude? Oh, you just want some pettings. I'm giving the camera and the cylinder head too much attention is what it is. And then over here, I'm going to go my next size up that I have, which is a 5/16. That's roughly that size there. I'm going to make sure it's open to 5/16, open that to 5/16, and then lastly a 3/8. I'm going to come in there and make sure a 3/8 fits in there, and I'm done. I'll probably smooth the bowl out, just the bowl area, I'll smooth it, and of course these little yucky growies down in here, I'm going to get rid of that right there, that casting gunk. And that's going to be our bowl port right there. Okay, we're smooth. A little too much light, not enough light. Too much light. It's cameras. They're never happy no matter what you do. But yeah, that's it. Just dressed it, and then I come back with a sander roll on the Dremel and touch that up just to smooth that area out a little bit, and that's it. We're dressed. So I think I'm going to tackle these little ugly spots right there, get those out on the edge, and then start working this boss area a little bit, and then well, like I said, do the other part. Okay, I got the big bit right here. I couldn't do a whole lot with it just because we're getting tight down in there. On the safety glasses falling on the floor. Whenever I get to the port, I'll be using that bit more. So I went to this, which is roughly a 5/16 ball, right? And I did this. I went down, you're kind of in the way. I went down in that area, and I did the other side. I need to do a little bit more work in there, but I just did that number there, and then I did my roundy round radius, and you can see our angle. I'll get you a little closer where you can see our angle is starting to take shape there, and kind of smooth that out. Got more work to do. Let's look at our flow ball. This is our 5/16. Looking pretty good. Need some right up at the end, and right there the beginning looks good, but we need to take a little bit more of that boss down right in there and finish that out. So about 2 minutes of work or something like that's all we need there on that. And then I'll change my bit type and do that area there. I think I'm gonna run one of these little tapered one, the flame looking one, I believe that's what that's called. I'll probably run that one down in there. And if I get to where I need a little bit more length, I actually have some longer versions of those that I can chuck up if I need to get back a little further, if I just can't get down in there good enough. And if wielding the Dremel is a little too hard, you see I got braces on, right? Because this stuff kills my wrist. I'll wake up and it'll be like my whole arms are on fire. And then won't be able to use my hands for a few days. But I do have the Dremel little attachment somewhere. I don't see it just yet that I can put on there, like a little hand attachment. So I can put that in there, and that'll make a smaller area to get down in there if I have to. But so far, I don't think I'm going to have to do that. So I am 30 minutes into doing this right now. I forgot to actually time the beginning, but I'm going to say a good 30 minutes into doing what we did right there. Probably not quite that, but we'll just call it 30 minutes right there, which brings us to 2 hours total into this head port, which times 8 is, you know, it adds up, right? So that's, 16 hours to do a whole set of heads. Which, I mean, as we see, our gains are coming pretty quick. And that's usually how it is on something, is you get low-hanging fruit, things that occur very quick. You get big gains for not a lot of effort until a certain point, and then you get diminishing returns on there. You have to put more and more and more time into it to keep getting gains. But what we're doing here is, this is the easy stuff right here. All right, now that is rough. So I'll have to come back and clean it, but I'm going to finish my cuts in there and probably just show you what it looks like complete now that you get that idea. And our bowl is about done. I need to measure this to see how much that dress added, and then I'll just, you know, kind of hit these little corners in here or whatever I need to do to finish up that, to get it to 88%. All right, all done with this other than short side. I'll have to flip the head around to do that. Just under an hour into this. So look right in there. We're polished out and smooth in here. Opened up the throat ratio. You can see kind of what I did there. Right up to that machining mark is where I'm measuring. Same over here. Right up to the machining mark. I just come in and just had to get pretty aggressive on that to get it to come down. I kept doing it, and everything wasn't moving because I was just, you know, trying to use a stone or whatever. Be careful. I haven't done throat ratio actually measuring it. I just kind of go in there and, you know, do it a little bit. The rest of this, I've pretty much have done this before, so it went super quick in here. That's a lot to do. And this is the way all these are going to go. Like, I'm timing this one, but this is my first one. The next one will be quicker, and the next one will be quicker, and so on. and so on. What you can see right here, I've angled this and kind of brought it back to here, angled that whole edge coming up to the spark plug. I just smoothed that one out. Everything's been hit with a sander roll as best as I can get to it in there. So that's all I'm going to do for tonight. The next thing you're going to see is this flipped around, and I'm going to go over the short side. See, we got a little bit right there, like this kind of necks over, lips over. I want to take care of those little edges in there. I like kind of radiusing that out. And I still got a little bit of lip in there to do that dressing, but I'll be able to see that when we get to that spot. But this is good, and yes, you're going to see tool marks and everything, but that's not an affecting flow in there. I mean, maybe a hair if you're like super. There's a 3/8. I kind of like that. I could take out just a little more back up in there, but we're pretty much 3/8 on that one. And our 5/16 goes in up to there. I could do just a little more right back there, but I think we're pretty good. Before we couldn't even get a quarter in there, and we got a quarter going all the way up, right? And the same thing with the 5/16 on this side. We get that all the way in there. So that's how much metal I took out right there to try to get those where they are. And it's hard to tell. You got to have something to gauge it by. All right, well, I'm going to take a break. You can do whatever you want to do. Go get your tasty beverage. And then when we come back, we're going to be doing the short side radius. All right, we got this flipped around here. So I just need to do my short side right here. And I was trying to get that to dress out right there. So I'm just going to come in and get that little ridge out right there. And it kind of comes in and has some weird, like right at the throat, has like a little weird area, so I'll probably radius that out as well. Then I'm going to jump over here to the exhaust, come in here and do a good cleanup up in here. And it's got those ridges in there too, where the machining ended basically, and the casting began. And it comes all the way around. I'm just going to take that out. Touch it up just by the time I take that ridge out, because it's right at the throat. That's going to give me my throat ratio right there. And 6 minutes and we're done. I mean, that easy. And, you know, I've done this type of stuff before. That's generally what I did. But, you know, I just went in there. I mean, that took like 30 seconds to knock that down and we're done. Went over here with a sander roll right quick. Vacuumed it out, and took a little bit to get this upper ridge in there out. Can't see it, can you? Because it's not there. And just that little ridge around there. Took a little bit to get that out. I just grinder stoned it. I didn't get out a cutter tool for that. It's no need in there. And that is it. We are done with the bowl port. My bowl ratios are now correct, so I'm 86% and 88% on these two right there, and that's what the master Charlie says do. So on these heads anyway, so that's what I've done, and that's it. So I'm going to just kind of run my hand around everything, look for any sharp edges I might have missed, don't fill any. All right, just check that out. Let's see what we got. We have. At 100, let's see, cut 1 seemed to drop down, but it's pretty turbulent. It's still kind of turbulent in there, but it did pick back up. And 200 lift, saw a slight gain in there. 300 lift, slight gain. 400 lift, slight gain. 500, the same, which 500 was down on first cut, so it's still down a little bit. So how would I get 500 lift back up there? Take the short side radius and start messing with it. But then all the other flows I have going up to 500 is going to go down. I'm going to lose 1, 2, and 300 lift. So for this, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so I want to look at the intake manifold next, is because I know that those ports are quite a bit smaller. So I have to do some sort of port match. So I'll be going over that. The other thing is that the intake manifold, I want to make sure it goes from big and wedges down nice and even narrow into the head and through the head to the bowl. I want to make sure it don't kind of come in and then open back up, or come in and hit a flange or anything like that, right? So that's why I need to take a look at that. But that's going to be next video. So I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time on Broken Tool Garage.